Okay, we're so excited that you have come to join us again for another segment of Meet My Mississippi Authors and Artists. We have so much talent in Mississippi, in the hills and all over Mississippi. Today we have another wonderful guest, and she is, oh, you're gonna be so excited about this. She's an author and a caterer. First of all, I like all of my guests to tell who they are and where they come from and let them kind of introduce themselves to you. So today we have
Tammie Gathings, and I am a native of Monroe County, Mississippi, Aberdeen to be more exact. I graduated from Aberdeen High School in 1994. I am a 2005 graduate of Mississippi State University with a degree in English and a minor in history.
Wonderful, wonderful. And in all of my interviews with all these fabulous people, I always try to go back to when I first met them and when we first came in contact. And most of them are on the internet, Facebook.
Of course.
So I'm all over Facebook, a Facebook queen trying to promote a positive Mississippi.
Of course.
So I came across you. How was it with your book? I think that we started kind of following each other and liking each other as fellow authors, right?
Yes.
And you were having something at the library and doing a book talk, and I liked your page and shared some of your stuff. And after that, we just started sharing each other's things. So that's where we're going to kind of start. When did you first start writing?
I first started writing in the 4th grade.
Okay.
And I actually started out writing poems.
Everybody starts with poems. What is that? It's just something that we get that little rhythm thing as a child, I think.
Yeah, but it's also because poetry, it seems so lofty. It seems like you're not a real writer unless you can write a poem.
Okay.
And so I was always trying to, use all these words that I learned in the thesaurus. And,
Okay.
and
you were one of those
Yeah, so I really love words. I've always loved words. I've learned that, words can take you into another place.
Absolutely.
But words can also get a lot of things done. And so I learned about the power of words before I even got into grade school.
Okay.
And so
So was there someone who encouraged you in that writing that you went on to try to major in something that had to do with writing and English and all that?
my first inspiration was my grandmother, my maternal grandmother.
Okay.
And she was always having me reading because I actually started reading before I could talk.
Okay. Oh my
And
goodness.
so that was just one of those things. You know how Southern grandmas are. Girl, let me tell you about my grandbaby. And so my thing was when people came to visit us at the house,
You would read.
I would read.
Oh my goodness.
And so that was my thing. I had a couple of cousins that could do the dancing and everything.
And you could read.
And I could read.
Oh
So,
my goodness. Do you know that's kind of how Oprah started, and that's her story that she always tells, that her grandmother would always say, this girl can really talk. She can, when she do her Easter speeches or whatever, and she would get up in the front of the church, and anything that was in the church, she would make Oprah do it. So that's kind of, you have that same kind of history. Okay, fast forward a little bit. When did you start getting in your head that maybe I want to write a book or tell a story?
One of my very best teachers at Aberdeen High School, Mr. John MacArthur, he saw that I had talent, not just, telling me that I was doing well just to be encouraging as a teacher. He said, you actually have real talent. And I was on the staff of our school newspaper.
Okay.
And when I won my senior year, the award for journalism, that made me feel like I could really do this.
Okay.
This is something that, could really be a career. So the first time I went to college, and that's a whole nother story.
Okay.
But the first time I went to college, my major was in communications with an emphasis in print journalism.
Okay.
Which I don't even think they have that anymore in Mississippi State because everything is digital and online and everything. But that was my thing. I was going to be a newspaper writer. I was going to move to Washington and have, stories in the Post and all of that.
Right, okay.
And so
you were a writer to the heart, period.
I was a writer to the heart. And so that was where I was going to be based out of, Washington, D.C. And the old saying, if you want to make God laugh, make plans.
Right. Because he has bigger and better plans, believe me, than we could ever make up.
Unfortunately, I graduated in 94 and I flunked out of Mississippi State in 96.
Oh, my goodness.
And because I was the first female in my family to go to college.
Okay.
And there was a lot of pressure on my shoulders. And so I was working 2 jobs. I had a full course load and everything just blew up. I couldn't take it anymore.
Right.
And so I had to move back home, and I definitely didn't like it. So
and that's an inspiration to a lot of people. They say at ICC, it's never too late to get your diploma, never too late to start or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the same thing. Hey, that's an inspiration to a whole lot of people. It's never too late. You can mess up, flunk out, and do something, pressures happen. Go back, because that's your story.
Because I promise you, when I walked that floor in 2005, it felt just as good. It felt just as exciting.
Absolutely.
My granny was just as happy. My mama was just as happy. So
absolutely.
So it was wonderful.
Absolutely.
So I did go back after being an assistant teacher in the Aberdeen School District.
Okay.
And things from there, plus things that happened in my own childhood, also pushed me to actually write a book.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about this book, A Mix of Sun and Cloud.
Yes.
When did you first start writing the book, get the concept of it, and give us the history of the background of Mix of Sun and Cloud?
Well, I started writing it in 2006, but it was published in October of 2007. And one of the things that my degree afforded me was the chance to be able to investigate and find things on the internet. And a lot of people in my family to this day, hey Tammy, I need you to look up so and so and so and so for me, because there's a way to do it that's more productive. And so I said, I want a book, but nobody's going to publish a book this small. And so I just decided to type in self-publishing in Google, and a world of opportunities opened up for me. And so I'm like, thank you, Lord.
Absolutely.
And so I went to this place called lulu.com.
Okay.
And they gave me the chance to upload, and
that's LULU.com.
LU.com, yes. And so it was very user-friendly. And then once I started conversating with other authors and everything online, they said, why don't you try Amazon? It's a bigger market, and it's still free. And they used to have an arm called Create Space.
Right.
But now it's just Amazon Publishing, and they publish everything from short films, books, albums. And so I took a deep breath, and I told Granny, my grandmother, and I told her, I said, I'm thinking about writing a book. And she said, okay, girl, what you gonna write a book about?
So now, what did you write this book about? What is the history and the background that your granny would be so proud about? Because you're telling her story and the family story.
So I'm telling her story and mine. And we've always been very, very close. And it just so happens that our lives parallel each other. A lot of the things that she went through as a young woman and as a child, I was also going through those same type of experiences, because I have health problems, and she also had a lot of the same health problems when she was growing up. And she told me how she got through.
Okay.
She told me how she prayed. She told me how she used what she had up here, even though she couldn't drive. She didn't have a high school diploma because she was forced to quit in the 8th grade. And the thing about that is that she was the person in her family with the most education in the 8th grade.
Okay.
So she made me value education. She made me value every opportunity that came my way.
Okay.
And so I was constantly grabbing, constantly doing things.
Wonderful.
And one of the reasons why is because Granny wanted to do it and couldn't do it.
Okay, so you're right in her place. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that way with my family and my grandparents and foreparents. It's like when I step through a door, it's like I bring them through the door with me.
And unfortunately, Mississippi State at the time that I was going, she was telling me, and my grandfather was also saying about how blacks couldn't be on the campus after nightfall.
Mm-hmm.
And so one night I just went out there and I ran all around the drill field. And I know everybody was like,
why? But just
what are you on?
right.
But, you know, just to think about
that they couldn't be there at one time. Mm-hmm.
At one time, you could not be on the campus after dark.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked like me, and they wanted the same things I
Right.
wanted. So having that presence of history in my life has pushed me to do a lot of the things that I do.
Wonderful. So what is that mix of sun and clouds?
Mix
What
of
is
sun
the
and
mix
clouds. My
in your life?
granny was a sharecropper.
Okay.
And so a mix of sun and clouds is a weather term. And so she had the opportunity, she would have probably been a weather person because
Okay.
she can predict storms.
Mhm.
She can predict, you know, different weather phenomenon, and never had formal training, never had the education.
So that's a weather term and a life term because you talk about good times and highs and
bad,
lows
yes.
in life.
Mhm.
And okay, so what do you want to get out? What do you want people and the readers and listeners to get out of writings by Tammie Gathings?
I want them to be inspired. I want them to have increased faith,
Okay.
because that's what it took for her to do what she did. She had to face a number of obstacles of being female, of being from the South, of being poor, of being, you know,
Undereducated.
yeah,
you know,
being of,
right.
you know, of little use to some people.
Right. And
There-
speaking of Granny, we're gonna go from the book because you know we can talk
Oh,
all day
yes,
and all
yes,
day.
yes.
We're gonna go from the book to your business. Okay,
Yes.
you have a business called.
Two Hot Hens.
Okay, now tell us how you got the name of that business and how it came about.
Well, cooking is in my blood because cooking is part of my history throughout my family. And so if you've ever seen The Help, that was my granny. That was her sister. That was my aunt.
Okay.
That was my mom.
Okay.
And so my mother worked at what they used to call a dairy bar, but it's
Okay,
more like
yeah,
a diner.
everybody knows
Yeah, like
about
a
dairy
diner
bar.
type situation. And so the guy who owned the place, his name was Mitch, and Mitch had a core group of customers that would always come in. It's like, man, I don't know where you got those ladies from.
Okay.
But boy, they can burn back there. They can cook. And he would come back there and slap him on the shoulder and say, yeah, my hens got it going on back here.
Okay.
And so I thought about that when my mom and I were getting ready to do this venture. And so I'm very hot-natured.
Okay.
And I have a little temper. And
Okay.
so we played on that, and we call it Two Hot Hens because, you know, they always tell you, if you can't stand the heat,
Get out the
you gotta
kitchen.
get out the kitchen.
Now, what is the website to Two Hot Hens?
We don't have a website, but we're on Facebook. Just type in Two Hot Hens.
Okay.
And I have pictures of everything that we offer.
And we're going to post that menu. But tell us some of the things and what are your most popular things?
We do old school desserts, and our most popular menu items are the homemade pecan pies, bread pudding, and butter rolls.
And we want a real close up of this homemade pecan pie.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yeah, we did that just for
That
for
crust
that.
is unbelievable.
Just
We'll
for
get
the
a picture
short.
of it and put it on the website. But that crust, I mean, that's art. We're talking about Mississippi authors and artists. That's art.
Yes.
It's
And-
a talent.
And
It's
for
a
a long
gift.
time, I tried to run away from that legacy of cooking because I was too wrapped up in the image that
Cooking
I
for
wanted to
somebody.
be something more than
Yeah, a
what
cook.
the women in my family were. I wanted to be educated. I wanted to be elite. And so I felt like if I pressed the things that had to do with being country, with being, you know, a cook, being a person who is mothering and home, I wanted to break that stereotype, but I realized I was denying a very big part of myself, and I was also denying the history of my family. So, in doing that, my grandmother, she is just so very proud, and she's actually tickled that people are willing to pay so
for
much
those
money for what she calls struggle food.
Okay.
And struggle food is what the things that we had to eat because we didn't have anything else. The bread puddings. That was just her way of recycling, you know, the biscuits from that morning. And rice pudding is the same way. And dressing, not stuffing.
Right.
We're in Mississippi.
Absolutely.
With Southern women, it's dressing.
Absolutely.
So all of those things made me close to her, made me close to the other people in my family. And now when I cook those things, people tell me sometimes when they inbox me, I felt the love in that food.
Okay, and that's what you want.
And that's what you want. And I remember a lot of my best childhood memories came from the food that we ate. They might not have been the most healthy dishes, but I know that some people say they put their foot in it.
Okay.
What they're really doing is putting their heart and soul into the dishes, and you know that it came from a place in the heart. So that's why I went ahead 5 years ago and picked back up to cooking.
Wonderful.
And
so what are your biggest holidays that come up and people are like bum rushing you for all these things?
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay. And we got the butter rolls. I got the butter rolls once for Christmas or Thanksgiving or both of them. I don't know. And I'm telling you, okay, y'all, you just don't even understand. Now, you had a situation where somebody tasted your butter roll and what? They just were like amazed.
Yes.
What happened with that?
My cousin recently got married, and his wife had been looking and trying to connect with the different people in his family. So she saw the Two Hot Hens Facebook page, and he was like, "Yeah, that's my cousin." He's like, "You're related to this lady?" It's like, "Yeah, that's my cousin. We grew up together." It's like, "Those butter rolls look awesome. Would she be willing to make us some?" And so, as a surprise wedding gift, I made them a butter roll.
Oh my goodness.
And, so,
and we're going to post some pictures of some of those butter rolls and pies and your menu with it.
And this year we also added on, because it's our 5-year anniversary, we make brownies, the regular brownies, but we also have lemon and strawberry varieties of the brownies.
Okay.
And we can also do some of the foods in sugar-free varieties.
Oh yes, I got something sugar-free for my husband. I forgot what that was, but that was awesome also. She's just awesome. She does it all.
Yeah.
So look up Two Hot Hens on Facebook, and remember this book, A Mix of Sun and Clouds, and get with Tammy.
And it's also available on Amazon. Just type in either A Mix of Sun and Clouds or my name.
Okay, very good. Now give us one of your favorite quotes. Like I said, I kind of end with your favorite quote or something, a Bible verse or something that's all about Tammy.
Oh, my favorite, I call it my theme verse. It's Galatians 6 and 9, where it talks about not becoming weary and doing good, because in due time you will reap a harvest. And so that has always been a theme in my life. I would call
perseverance.
Yeah, because I would call myself a late bloomer. If it's humiliating, it probably happened to me. If it was supposed to go one way, I probably tripped up and it went another way.
Okay.
And so the things that were supposed to happen did not happen, but the things that happened became so wonderful. And so I am amazed at my life.
And I post it on Facebook all the time. God's plans for you are so much greater and bigger than your plans for yourself.
Yes.
So I kind of step out of the way sometimes and say, okay, God, you do that. Because so many of the things that I wanted so badly are the best unanswered prayers that I've ever had, you know, for him to say no.
When I finally was able to return to Mississippi State, I wrote a note on the back of an envelope, a little small change envelope. And I wrote a note to God, and I told him that the last time I came to college, I came without you, and that didn't go so well. So please join me when I come back.
Wow.
And so when I went back, it was still tough, of course, but it was a totally different situation the second time, and I stepped out on faith. And that's what I wish more people would do, just not just having faith in God, but having faith in what you can do. Having faith in the fact that somebody needs what you have to offer.
That is a message to all authors and artists. There is somebody out there who's looking for exactly what you have to offer. I don't care what you're offering. There is somebody out there. And I call it my niche. Especially you have to find your niche when you're doing writing and
any type
singing,
of art.
any art. You just find your niche, because there are going to be a million people who love what you do, and there are going to be a million people who hate what you do. You have to shake out the noise and the haters.
Yes.
Because haters are gonna hate. That's what they do.
Mhm.
That's their job.
But I told my grandmother this weekend, I gave her a card, and in it I said, "Thank you for giving me the courage to be me."
Wow.
And so,
And you know that's my whole thing. Be you, do
Mhm.
you, and shine. That's what I put on Facebook all the time.
yeah, because my brothers and my husband, they have a record of moments where they just go like, "Did she just say that?" But you know, they love me anyway because they know the authentic Tammy.
Yes.
And they know that it's coming from the heart. It's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
I'm not being malicious in what I do. And so I just decided that I'm just going to live
Mhm.
out loud.
Right.
And if that draws somebody to Christ, if that draws somebody to their destiny, if it draws somebody to just say, I'm going to think a little differently so that I can do a little better,
Absolutely.
then that's what I'm going to do. And so that was another part of the inspiration in writing the book, that
Mhm.
I met people who had been very poor,
Mhm.
people who had gone through mental health issues and child abuse,
Mhm.
and I wanted to give them something to hold on to,
Okay.
just a way to say that it didn't just happen to
So
you.
did you get into some of that in the book about being abused
Oh,
or
yes, I
anything?
did. I
Okay.
talk about, unfortunately, when I was 6 years old, I was molested.
Mhm.
And it was the summer before I started first grade. So when I started school, I felt like I had a stain on me.
Mhm.
And it affected my relationships with my classmates,
Mhm.
with myself, and with my teachers.
In such a young age, and
Mhm.
see, that's for somebody out there listening to know it. I'm not just the only one.
No, I just,
In
and
such
that
a
is-
young child.
that is one big thing that I always try to stress to people. And I learned that through my study of history as well. I wasn't the only one that went through something.
Absolutely.
And my grandmother taught me through history, like, she was born a year before the Great Depression.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so when I learned about these things in school, and I was like, Granny, can you help me with my homework? And she'll tell me what it was like from her perspective. So it also taught me how to appreciate history from the bottom up, because
Yes.
history being told from the top down leaves
Right.
out so,
So
many
much.
people
Yes.
who were living, who were,
Yes.
who were experiencing what I'm reading about in history. And so now that push has become so big to write history, to rewrite it actually from the bottom up,
Wonderful.
because it's a more rich tapestry
Wonderful.
that way.
Well, you have inspired me. You inspire others with this book and your life story. And thank you so much for
Thank
coming to be
you.
with us here
Mhm.
on the Hill Country Network, Mississippi Authors and Artists. I told y'all we have the most fascinating, amazing people. And guess what? They are my friends. I cannot
Yes.
believe this. It is just so
This is
wonderful.
my girl.
Yes. So thank you again for coming to another segment of Meet My Mississippi Authors and Artists. As always, I'm Patricia Neely-Dorsey. Always celebrating the South and promoting a positive Mississippi.
It's inside me, girl, it's in the air. It's who I am through and through. It won't take long till it gets